Every time he walks into the office, my skin heats up. Not like a blush, not like nerves like fire. Like his eyes are hands. Like his voice has fingers. I swear he doesn't even look at me that way. He's professional. Cold even. He speaks with this low, confident calm that makes my stomach tighten like a held breath. And yet, I can't focus when he's near. I have to clench my thighs under the desk just to think. He doesn't know it, but I dream about him. Every night. Dreams where I lean into him in the elevator and he doesn't stop me. Where his hand brushes mine and stays there, lingering, before traveling up my arm like it belongs to him. In those dreams, I'm not scared of being caught. I'm not his assistant. I'm not calculating the risk. I'm just a woman, lost in the way his jaw clenches when he's focused, the way his voice dips when he's annoyed, the way he looks up from paperwork like he's searching for something only I can give him. And when I wake up I ache. For something I've never had. For him. So yeah, it's more than a crush. It's obsession. It's physical. Like my body already knows him, even if my hands have never touched skin. But that was before she walked in. Before I saw her. Before everything I thought I wanted got tangled into something I never expected. Because when I saw his girlfriend for the first time, I stopped breathing. And not for the reason I thought I would. It was a Friday, just after lunch. I was still replaying the sound of his laugh from a meeting earlier, trying to pretend I wasn't flustered, when the door opened. And there she was. She didn't belong in our office. Too beautiful. Too self-assured. Her dress fit like it was made just for her. Her smile was slow and knowing, like she could feel every eye turning toward her, and she liked it. But it was her eyes that got me. They scanned the room once casually until they landed on me. And held. Just a second too long. She didn't flinch. Didn't give a polite little nod like most visitors do. Instead, she smiled, not warm, not fake. It was curious. Like she knew something about me that I didn't even know yet. I felt it, that same heat I get when he enters the room, but it was different. Sharper. Like my body didn't know how to process what it was feeling, so it just reacted. I watched her walk over to his office. The way he greeted her with a hand on her waist, the way she leaned in. They looked good together. Almost too good. And that's when it hit me. I didn't just want him anymore. I wanted them both. The thought was so sudden it felt like it had been hiding in me all along, waiting for her to appear. My mind raced, imagining scenes I'd never dared to think before. Her fingertips on my skin. His breath in my ear. The two of them, close, dominant, electric, and me, trembling between them. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was jealous. Because I was starving. I wasn't thinking clearly. Or maybe I was thinking too clearly, in the kind of way that only happens when your body wants something so badly, it drowns out every rule, every boundary, every ounce of logic. It was just after midnight. I was lying in bed, sheets twisted around my legs, replaying the way her smile had curled when she looked at me. The way his voice had dipped when he greeted her. The way my own chest had tightened as I imagined being caught between them, unable, unwilling to choose. And then I did something reckless. I grabbed my phone and texted him. Are you awake? I was wondering if I could come by. Just to talk, about work. I hovered over the send button. My fingers shook. I told myself he wouldn't respond. That he'd laugh it off. That it was harmless. But I pressed send anyway. 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Sure. Doors open. I stared at the message, my pulse thudding like a drum. I don't remember driving over. Just the cold night air, my thin sweater, how my fingers gripped the steering wheel like I was trying to hold onto my sanity. When I knocked, the door opened almost before I could lower my hand. He was there. Shirt unbuttoned halfway, sleeves rolled, barefoot. Casual. But his eyes, those weren't casual. They were alert. Watchful. Like he knew exactly what this was. Come in, he said, his voice low and smooth. Did something happen? I nodded. But I didn't answer. Because the moment I stepped into his space, I forgot what language even was. All I could feel was the tension between us, strung tight and humming like a live wire. And just as I parted my lips to say anything, the doorbell rang. We both turned. And then I heard her voice. Hope I'm not interrupting. She stood there in the doorway like she already knew the ending. Wearing black, simple, elegant, devastating. Her hair pulled back like it was an afterthought. No makeup, or at least none I could see. Just her. And that same smile from earlier, soft, unreadable, and somehow intimate. I froze. But she didn't. She stepped inside slowly, her heels silent against the wood floor, her eyes flicking between us like she was catching the last lines of a conversation she didn't need to hear. "I saw your car," she said, tilting her head toward me. "Wasn't sure whether to knock or wait." Her voice was light, unbothered, but there was something underneath it. Something deliberate. He cleared his throat. "I didn't know you were coming." "I didn't either," she said, looking at me now. "But I'm glad I did." The air between us thickened. I could hear my own heartbeat. She looked at me like she'd read the texts. Like she'd seen the heat behind my eyes when I watched them together. Like she could feel the way my body was trying not to lean toward her. She turned to him and asked, "Are you going to invite me in properly?" He blinked once, then smiled. A real one this time, and gestured toward the living room. And just like that, we were all there. Him on one end of the couch. Me in the middle. Her beside me. Our knees brushed. Once. Then again. Not an accident. She leaned closer. "You looked like you had something you wanted to say," she whispered. Her breath touched the shell of my ear like a secret. I turned to her slowly. "I think I do." But my voice wasn't steady. Because all I could think was, how did I get here? And what would happen if I didn't stop this? The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was charged. Every inch of my skin felt alert, as if someone had turned up the volume on sensation. I could hear his breathing, slow, deliberate, and I could feel hers, close and warm, brushing my arm when she leaned in. "I've seen the way you look at him," she murmured. My breath caught. She didn't sound jealous. She sounded curious, almost amused. Her fingers were resting lightly on the couch between us, close enough that the heat from them made my pulse stutter. "I'm not proud of it," I whispered. She tilted her head. "Why not?" I turned toward him. He was watching us quietly, his elbow resting on the arm of the couch, eyes dark and unreadable. He didn't stop it. He didn't say a word. That made it worse. Or maybe better. "I thought I just wanted him," I admitted, barely hearing my own voice over the rush in my ears. "But then I saw you. And I didn't know what I was feeling. You were feeling pulled," she said, her voice soft but certain. "Toward both of us." My cheeks flushed so deeply I could feel it in my throat. She reached up slowly, and for a moment, I thought she was going to brush a strand of hair from my face. But she didn't. Her fingers hovered, so close I could feel the warmth of her skin, but she stopped just short of touching me. And that not quite touch undid me more than anything else could have. My body leaned in before I realized it. Her lips curled into that knowing smile. And then finally she did touch me. Just a graze along my jaw, featherlight, but enough to make my whole body hum. I turned instinctively toward him. And I saw it, the heat in his eyes. Not just approval. Hunger. "I don't want to choose," I whispered. "You don't have to," she said. And then, everything started. She kissed me first. It wasn't a question. It wasn't even bold. It was inevitable. Like we'd both been waiting for the silence to break. Her lips brushed mine like she was testing a secret. My whole body tensed, then melted. I tasted heat, curiosity, something wicked and gentle at once. And when I felt her smile against my mouth, I gasped. That's when I felt his hand. Not on me, not yet, but near. He moved in behind me, close enough that I could feel the heat of his chest against my back. Still silent. Still watching. But I felt the air shift as he reached forward, his fingers grazing her wrist as she touched me. That tiny contact sent a jolt through all three of us. She pulled back, just enough to meet his eyes over my shoulder. "She's so responsive," she whispered to him, and I shivered. Not from cold, but from the unbearable awareness of being seen. His breath touched my neck, low and warm. I noticed. Their attention wrapped around me like a storm, slow, sensual, magnetic. No rush. No urgency. Just the exquisite slowness of being wanted by two people at once. She leaned in again, her mouth at my ear. "Do you feel safe?" I nodded. "Too safe." She laughed quietly. "Good. Because safety was just the beginning. The real danger was what I felt next, the ache, the surrender, the way my body moved on instinct without thinking. Every breath, every brush of skin, every glance between them felt like a new kind of intimacy I'd never even dared to imagine. And when his hands finally found me, steady, commanding, reverent, I let go of everything I thought I knew about desire. We moved like we'd always known how. Like our bodies recognized something ancient and forgotten. Like a rhythm only we understood that it wasn't rushed. That's what surprised me most. I thought if this ever happened, it would be fast and messy, too much, too soon, all tangled limbs and guilty pleasure. But it wasn't. It was slow. Intentional. A kind of worship I'd never felt before. He kissed the side of my neck like he'd been holding back for months. Like each inch of my skin was something sacred. And God, she was poetry. The way she touched me wasn't urgent. It was exploratory. Curious. Like every reaction I gave her was something to savor. Together they were a storm, but one that knew exactly where to strike. At one point I remember trembling, my breath shallow, my thoughts blurry. My hands reached out blindly, one found her hip, the other found his wrist. I didn't want to anchor myself. I wanted to lose myself. And I did. I remember her whispering my name. Soft. Encouraging. I remember him murmuring, just like that, against my shoulder. His voice almost a growl, but not rough. Protective. Proud. I didn't know it was possible to feel that scene that wanted. I didn't know two people could look at you at once like you were the center of their universe. But in that moment, I wasn't his assistant. I wasn't the girl who sent late-night texts she regretted. I wasn't confused. I was theirs. Every movement was a conversation without words. Every sigh, every shiver, every glance answered. Matched. Understood. They took their time with me. And I let them. Because something deep inside me had waited for this, not just the pleasure but the permission. To feel this free. This desired. This whole. I don't remember falling asleep. Only that at some point, the air had gone still and warm, the night softened into silence. The kind of silence that follows a storm where everything is calm but nothing is the same. I woke slowly. The first thing I felt was warmth. One body on either side of mine. His arm was draped over my waist, heavy and grounding. Her leg tangled with mine, her hand resting gently on my stomach like a quiet promise. I didn't move. I just lay there, eyes still closed, letting the moment wash over me. My body ached, but not with discomfort. It was the ache of being fully used, fully seen, fully held. For the first time in months, maybe years, I didn't feel like I had to get up and pretend. There was no shame. No panic. Just peace. I opened my eyes slowly. He was already awake, watching me with that unreadable gaze, like he was waiting to see if I'd regret it. I didn't. Then she stirred, nuzzling closer, her lips brushing the curve of my shoulder in half-sleep. Morning, she murmured, and smiled. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't a fantasy anymore. It wasn't a dream I'd have to shake off or a secret I had to hide. It was real. I didn't know what would happen next, if this was a one-time thing or something bigger. But I knew what I wanted. And for once I wasn't afraid of wanting it.